Hello guys, how are you? This is Hinza here from Asia Web3 Japan. Today we have a very exciting panel to us to discuss about the global opportunity with the Web3 ecosystem, and we would like to discuss more about that how can we collaborate the private sector and the government sector to support the Web3 startups. Yes, we have a first panel, Amy Yoshiki-san, former VP of Strategy Initiative Ripple.
Let's introduce myself.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Amy Yoshikawa. So most recently I spent 8 years at Ripple in San Francisco in a variety of roles. I was responsible for corporate strategy, business operations, strategic initiatives, and joint venture partnerships. And that was a really amazing 8 years journey there. I left Ripple a couple of months ago, and currently I'm taking a little time to research, but also I'm involved in the academic side of the world as well. And I'm a adjunct professor at Kyoto University and help build blockchain research center at Kyoto University. And currently our focus is to really build academia and industry collaboration in blockchain research. And we're trying to create a community of researchers in blockchain. So if any of you are interested in blockchain research, please come talk to me.
Thank you. We have a second panel, Yusuke Kaga-san, Startup Support Division, JETRO.
Hello everyone, thank you so much to introduce me. I'm Yusuke from the JETRO startup. I initiated my career as an entrepreneur in the area of the AI back to France, and afterwards, I did a couple of marketing research on a couple of things in the crypto as well. And I found a huge discrepancy between Japan and overseas in terms of entrepreneurship journeys. I mean, in Japan, we don't have a lot of strong startup which becomes unicorn compared to the US market, I think. So that's why I just joined the JETRO startup. It's one of the Japanese governmental affiliate organization to support Japanese and foreign entrepreneurs to scale up in the Japanese market and the global market. And we currently have a lot of community building things in the AI, which is called the AI Salon, and in the area of the Web3 Salon, collaborating with Hinza in order to increase the more pipeline to scale up entrepreneurs, people from Japan to overseas and from overseas to Japan. So we are governmental agency, so we support a lot of the things for the entrepreneur, investor, and everyone to smooth the business all over the world. Thank you. Really looking forward to discussing today's topic.
Thank you. Our next panelist is Seira Yoon, founder and CEO of Socious.
Hi everyone, my name is Seira. I'm the founder of Socious. Socious is a decentralized ecosystem that helps impact organizations get funding and talent. So we have a crowdfunding platform called Socious Fund that helps impact organizations to raise capital. And we have Socious Work that helps impact organizations find talent, purpose-driven talent, using blockchain technology and AI matching. So I'm looking forward to our discussion today.
Thank you. We have Yuta, Intersect community member.
Hi, I'm Yuta, and I am an Intersect steering committee member of Intersect, and it's an MBO for the Cardano blockchain, and I am also CDA, and Intersect handles all aspects of Cardano, but current focus is how to handle Cardano's $1 billion trajectory. So I will try to help that process. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's start the discussion with Amy. Amy, as someone who has led the strategy initiative at Ripple and work across global blockchain ecosystem, how do you see the Japan position in the global Web3 space? And what are the key strategies Japan can offer to the international participants?
Yes. So definitely the Web3 industry in Japan has gone through a lot of ups and downs in the last 10 years or so. Back in 2016 through 18, Japan was one of the top markets for crypto trading, and there was a lot of attention given to Japan market. But after a few major exchange hacks, the industry had to really focus on keeping up with the tightening regulations. And that was really a kind of winter time for the industry, and it was really, really hard to innovate at that time, try out something new, even though the rest of the world was kind of moving really quickly. But then, I think looking back, that was really a necessary step for Japan to build really kind of strong and resilient infrastructure for future growth. And when the FTX incident happened, it was a really perfect opportunity for Japan to showcase how robust Japan's regulatory framework is. And then, now in the last few years, Japan really re-emerged, and this time with a really strong government backing and commitment. And now we are seeing a lot of large companies like Sony of the world or SBI, they are really continuing to drive innovation. And I think it's really encouraging to see that these large companies are really committed to open innovation. They are really open to work with many Web3 startups. And then Japan has a very large engaged user base and also very strong IP and content. So there are a lot of positive things going for Japan. And I think it's really exciting time for global players to start looking at Japan market. That being said, I think there's still a very significant gap between aspiration and reality. One kind of metric that people typically look at in terms of Web3 momentum is on-chain activity. And Chain Analysis publishes the annual report on global crypto adoption index, and basically ranking countries based on-chain activities. Where do you think Japan ranks in the ranking?
Related to this question, I have one tough question for you.
Yeah, well, actually, let me answer the question. So it's like Japan ranks 23rd in the ranking.
Yes.
And then that's globally. And then in Asia, it ranks like 10th. So obviously, feels like there's a lot of like government backing and corporate participation happening, but then it's not really translating to on-chain activities. So I think that's a kind of key gap, and I think part of that is because a lot of the kind of retail-driven use cases are more focused on like custodial solutions rather than non-custodial solutions. So it's not really the transactions are happening like off-chain rather than on-chain. And then also a lot of like real-world asset tokenization are taking the form of STO in Japan. So many of those tokenization is happening on permission chain. So it seems like there's a kind of divide between permissionless ecosystem and institutional permission ecosystem. So I feel like this divide and fragmentation is really kind of getting in the way for further kind of ecosystem growth. And it's really important to bring more institutional and enterprise use cases into the permissionless world. And that way we can really achieve a virtuous cycle for like more developers, bringing more applications, bringing more users, and then liquidity. And then that kind of flywheel impact is really important. So that's a kind of gap I see right now.
Thank you so much. But related to this question, I have one tough question for you. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
I want to know about the Japan regulatory side. And what do you think about the tokenization economy in Japan?
Yeah, so they in Japan had a head start, an early start, as early as like 2017, and made a really important contribution to the global community by kind of presenting the first regulatory framework. And many of the countries like outside Japan look at Japan as a kind of model case. However, like being early is not necessarily like it doesn't mean like being perfect. So the use cases in Web3 continue to change, and so does regulations as well. And right now there's a lot of discussion happening about potential reclassifying crypto assets as a financial instrument, and that would open up a lot of use cases, which is encouraging. But I think Japan has to keep in mind the rest of the world is quickly catching up, particularly US, under the new administration. So if Japan kind of remains slow, then I think there is a risk of running the risk of being potentially laggard instead of leader.
Yeah. I want to add my point in this conversation that the US Commission, they just go have a crypto task force committee to support the regulation and policy side. They create a new regulation and open it to the corporate world. The people, the private companies can discuss to them that what kind of difficulty they are facing. If it will be happen this type of things in Japan, the government, Japanese government support directly to the corporate sector, so maybe we can easily create more user-friendly policies. Yeah. Kaga-san, I have one question for you. Recently we start the Web3 Salon. As a JETRO, what you looking after and see about it, how the JETRO will support the Web3 startups in foreign side, overseas and Japan side?
Okay, so our mission is just to scale up like our client startups from Japan to overseas, because compared to the US, the number of the unicorn in Japan is just around like 7 to 10. But in the US, I guess as of 2024-25, we identified more than 900 and 1,000 unicorn startups since 2000, after like the internet era. So we significantly a little bit delayed to generate a lot of unicorns. And we actually support not only Web3 startup but also like AI, agri, and the other things. But crypto and blockchain has a lot of potential to scale really rapidly, like the Ripple and like the other on-chain. And our mission, our responsibility is just to get connected with the overseas ecosystem builders. And for example, like what we would like to do through the Web3 Salon is just to get connected between like the Japanese Web3 people and overseas Web3 people. Because JETRO has more than 75 offshore offices all over the world. They have some of the information in the market as well. And when like some of the Web3 entrepreneurs go to Singapore or like they go to some of the MENA areas, the important thing is the actual regulations are different between the country to country. So speaking particularly of Web3 business, GTM strategy is depending on the countries. So what we have to do it, we have to give the information to entrepreneurs. But the regulation in the MENA area or in the Singapore, in the US market happens, and right now like the US market is really quickly, rapidly change the regulations and some of the rules. So what we have to do it, we just keep updating such kind of information for entrepreneurs, or sometimes we, through some like a program, we would like to bring the Japanese or the foreign entrepreneurs from Japan to overseas to learn about that and to incorporate the offices if their product is really suitable in the different countries. So this is a pathway to generate a community from Japan to replenish Japanese economy. Okay.
To better understanding for our participant, I would like to ask a question that that the regulation part, especially the Web3 side, is totally different from each country. So if overseas startup would like to be joined the JETRO overseas office, so is it any kind of support you will provide them?
Yes, so we have an inbound support team to support like overseas startup to incorporate in Japan, in Tokyo, in Osaka, or whatever around the cities. And we also offer like the information like how to register the company and what is the startup visa, or like how to become an entrepreneur here and what is the taxation rule. This kind of information we also offer it. And our HQ is located in Roppongi, and in our offices we have some like a co-working space or some like the separated room for foreign entrepreneurs to use and to start the registration and to start the business from scratch in Japan. Yeah, we have this kind of scheme to support. Not only for Japanese startup, but also from the overseas. Everything we can possible.
Thank you so much, Kaga-san. So if you would like to learn more about the Web3 Salon or the JETRO project, please contact us. We have a booth at the exhibition area, so we were happy to explain you. The Socious is very interesting project. We have the discussion before this panel about the Socious. So, Seira-san, I would like to know more about the position and social impact and social impact in the Web3 ecosystem related to your product.
Social impact and like Web3 ecosystem. So, I guess in order to answer that question, I want to emphasize that blockchain is very synergistic with social impact and environmental impact. Let me explain. So, blockchain is about trust. If you read the original white paper of Satoshi Nakamoto, the word trust is the word that is mentioned most. So blockchain as a basis, it's about bringing trust back to the system. Maybe that's lost trust. So that's the basis. And decentralized autonomous organization, it's about community and less hierarchy and bringing power back to the edges, not to the centralized entity. And this is what we talk about in the social impact and environmental impact sector as well. So my background is actually in the impact sector. I started my career in the United Nations and also the International Committee of the Red Cross. So I have a very strong background in that sector. And trust is hugely important. And it's not about hierarchy, it's about decentralization, community. So blockchain and social impact sector are very synergistic to begin with. And there are many blockchain projects coming from that current of thought. That, for example, Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, and he also co-founded Ethereum. His journey with Cardano started in 2014. He filmed a TED Talk, and he talked about banking the unbanked using the blockchain technology. He talked about the future, decentralized future, where bring power back to the edges, not to the center. So that is the beginning of Cardano and many other blockchain ecosystems. The purpose is to make the world a better place. So this is the whole background of blockchain and social impact. And now, coming back to Japan, I believe that Japan has an important role to play in the global sphere as well. So for three reasons. First is culture. So culturally, we have many concepts like sanpō-ryūshi. Sanpō-ryūshi means like it's for the customers, for the company, and the buyer, seller, and also the society. So we are quite socially conscious, and social responsibility is very important. And community relations and harmony is very important as well. So these are very synergistic concepts with DAOs and blockchains of trust as well. So Japan has this cultural background that is susceptible and very good for blockchain, Web3, refi projects, and blockchain for good projects as well. And we have tech talent, especially in Tokyo, in Osaka, in Fukuoka, and different metropolitan cities in Japan attract a lot of tech talent, top talent from all over the world. And I've spoken to many talent or job seekers through our work. Socious work, we match talent to jobs, right? And they want to come to Japan to work for Japanese companies. Why? Because Japan is safe, great food, great people, and I guess it has a very good technical infrastructure, and VC and the startup ecosystem is booming now. So even those software engineers, designers, they can make 3 times more salary in the United States, but they prefer to work in Japan because of the lifestyle, because of the quality of life. And maybe their salaries are much lower. However, it's much cheaper to live in Japan, and what you get with the same salary is much more quality than other places like Europe and the United States. So we can attract a lot of top talents in Japan. And finally, thanks to these panelists' efforts, the government policies, we have somewhat clear regulatory framework that is a basis for many Web3 startups. And I think there will be more regulatory changes and more clear regulations in the future with taxation and what Kaga-san mentioned as well, and legal frameworks. So these are attractive elements for Web3 startups, and also we already have the background for social impact. environmental impact. And so Japan, it has huge potential. And what we need is, I think I want to encourage Kaga-san and Hinza-san to have some kind of program specific for blockchain for goods or GreenFi and Web3 for good projects. That could be a good policy, a good push for these innovative startups, because Japanese government is actually trying to become net zero by 2050. Right? So this is a green transformation initiative from the previous administration. And we will get there. And actually, last year, at the time, the Prime Minister mentioned that Web3 plays a huge role in this initiative for social and environmental impact, ESG and SDGs. So it's incredible synergistic with Japan, Web3, and social impact. So I'm quite bullish on that aspect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we will be considered about that. How can we make something, a good project under the government support? It's very hard to convince Japanese government. Yeah.
I guess we try to launch some of like the Web3 related program from Japan to overseas, particularly in MENA areas, because I guess in terms of like regulations, MENA area is a little bit like more freer and a lot like more crypto friendly countries. So that's why we will have this.
Thank you so much, Yuta-san. I have a question related to your project. What trend are you observing in the local Web3 innovation, and what support does the builders to scale globally?
Thank you. That's a very important question. So please forgive me, my English isn't perfect. In Japan, we are seeing more and more builders who build Web3 not as a template trend, but as a critical public infrastructure. Small open source blockchain are working for practical use case such as DAOs, decentralized identity, and real-world asset tokenization. However, there are two key challenges when the builder try to scale globally. First, limited access to global capital and support, and due to language and legal differences, and second, lack of experience refining the product to a globally competitive level. On the other side, Japan has two major strengths: technical talent and regulatory plurality. So what we really need is an international connection point. And I currently serve an Intersect, which contains the allocation budget of over $1 billion in Cardano's treasury. So through Intersect, we work direct and community members around the world to support global builders through open decentralized governance. So for Japanese developers, international trust is essential to participate in this kind of public governance process, enjoying this kind of opportunity and demonstrate clear results. So I feel Intersect can play an important role to bridging Japan with the global Web3 ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Yuta-san. Thank you so much. This is the amazing panel. I would like to discuss more about that, but we have a very short time. I just want to give a conclusion of our conversation and discussion. Japan is providing support by the enterprises side, the corporate sector side. Now they are also providing support from the government level. And the JETRO is here. It means that we are welcome to support the overseas startup. We have a Web3 Salon. We will release some amazing accelerator program, some startup program to empower the startup to expand their business in Japan, and vice versa, to support the Japanese startup to expand their business outside Japan. So if you would like to meet these speakers, they will be around here. And thank you so much the TEAMZ event to organize this type of event, because this is the effort. We can connect people easily. Yeah. Thank you so much.
ありがとうございました。会場の皆様、大きな拍手をお願いいたします。